100% shooting this ball.
Well, the time has come. I feel today is a good day to destroy the idea that LeBron James should be in consideration for the league MVP, much less being considered a top 10 player in the league. I'm going to destroy the idea that he was the in-season tournament MVP, and I'm going to do this following last night's embarrassing spectacle of the Lakers-Spurs game. I didn't have it on for very long, but it was long enough for me to see LeBron James apparently get murdered and recover from being murdered twice in a very short span of time. And unfortunately, the audio was on long enough for me to hear the announcer saying complete and utter hogwash. Something about LeBron James took it personal and was going to show something tonight. Yeah, I mean, they have to steal the stories of Michael Jordan and him, showing people up after taking things personally. They can't even be original. And secondly, LeBron doesn't come through on these things. He doesn't get revenge on people. He just repeatedly embarrasses himself, and the announcers don't care. Oh, and one announcer was trying to make it sound like LeBron had hit some sort of a significant shot because Wemby was guarding him. And lo and behold, LeBron James made it. Miracle of miracles. I think the announcers were as surprised as the rest of us. And as they're still praising LeBron from the previous shot, LeBron chucks one up. I posted shorts of all of these last night if you haven't looked. And he missed so bad. That sound, I thought he was going to break the backboard with the brick. And they didn't have anything mean to say, of course. But all this praise last night and praise the next day just completely ignores the fact that the Lakers lost to a terrible, terrible team. I think the Spurs have 4 wins. Somehow it doesn't matter. Losing doesn't matter if you're defending LeBron James. Meaningless wins, like the in-season tournament, turn around and mean everything. The inconsistency in order to somehow continue this delusion that LeBron James is not the failure that he is without any boundaries whatsoever. It's crazy how far this goes. But you know what? That was just a bunch of talk coming out of my mouth. Weren't really many stats there to back it up. So here come the stats. At the time that I'm recording this, December 16th, 2023, the Lakers have played 26 games. LeBron has missed 2. The Lakers have won both of those. Anthony Davis has missed 2. The Lakers have lost both of those. Which player sounds more valuable to the team? 26 games into the season, Anthony Davis is continuing to be a league leader in rebounds and blocked shots. He has been in the top 3 of both of those since the beginning of the season and continues to be even now. LeBron James is not in a single leader category. Not one. Not a single category. Unless we're counting turnovers. And yet, he is being raised above all the other players in the league. I mean, the disrespect shown to the talent in the NBA is astonishing. But you don't even have to look at the rest of the teams. The disrespect on LeBron's own team is shocking. When someone on his own team is a league leader in 2 categories. 2! He has 2 of them. A single person. A single person holds 2 of the most important statistical categories in the entire league. And LeBron James is chosen above that guy. I'm emphasizing this because Anthony Davis is in elite company. Only Luka and the Joker hold more than one category. I mean, holding one category is pretty great. AD has 2 of them. And yet, LeBron is getting more love than AD. When LeBron can't break the top 15, even in his inflated categories like rebounds and points, You know something's up. Oh, I know. Let's create a new stat exclusive to people who have played 21 seasons. How many people who have played 21 seasons have scored this many? There you go. The Lakers have shown that they can't win without Anthony Davis. They have shown that they can win without LeBron James. And as I'll get to, we even have the exact same teams that we can make that comparison with. It's not like we go from him playing against the number 1 seed and then playing the bottom seed. We have the exact same teams in which we can see that the Lakers do better without LeBron James. The Spurs, for example, the night before, they won without LeBron James playing. LeBron comes back, they lose. The first game that Anthony Davis didn't play this season was against the Rockets, and man, did LeBron James look lonely. Lakers lost. Anthony Davis comes back. Now the Lakers are able to beat the Rockets again. And it doesn't even have to be a loss. For example, we have the Portland games where the Lakers won without LeBron. LeBron sat out, but also won when LeBron was playing. So what was the difference? Anthony Davis. The difference in win-loss here is whether or not the Lakers have Anthony Davis. How could it be any more clear? So let's get to this table that I made. It's color-coded to try and give a better idea of the situation at a glance. I'll read what the key means. Green means that the Lakers won with someone other than LeBron being the top scorer. Red means that James had the team high in points, but the Lakers lost. Blue are the occasions in which James had the team high in points and they won. Yellow means they lost and someone other than James was a high scorer. Let me read the results. I have, out of those 26 games so far this season, 6 times that LeBron James was the leading scorer and the Lakers lost. I also have 6 times where James was the leading scorer and they won. So that's split. In other words, there's no clear indication that LeBron James being the leading scorer means it's a good thing for the Lakers. But I do have something that offsets that balance. I have 10 games where the Lakers won when someone other than James was the leading scorer. Another important stat is that only 5 times have the Lakers lost when someone other than James was the leading scorer, which means that the Lakers have lost more times when LeBron was the leading scorer than when someone other than LeBron was the leading scorer. That's just comparing the losses. That's not even me stacking on the fact that the Lakers have clearly won more times when LeBron wasn't the leading scorer. But I dig even deeper into this. In those games where someone other than LeBron was the leading scorer and they still lost, well, LeBron kind of threw the game away. It's not even really fair in the statistical category because he sucked so bad it was like he threw the game. Let's go to the first one. These are marked in yellow, and that was a loss to the Kings. LeBron was almost the leading scorer, but not quite, so this goes in the yellow category. He shot 8 three-pointers and had 8 turnovers. Why is this guy shooting 8 three-pointers? You know, he's shooting more than Steph and Damian combined on some nights. 8 turnovers is enough for any player to single-handedly lose the game for their team. 8? Now let's look at the first game against Orlando in which the Lakers lost, but Anthony Davis was the leading scorer. This messes up my stats, but there's an important asterisk. Davis shot 10 of 15, had 7 blocks, was 8 for 8 from the free throws, and had 13 rebounds, 6 of which were offensive. He only had 3 assists. Then again, James only had 5 assists and only shot 8 of 15 compared to Davis's 10 of 15, and only had 9 rebounds compared to Davis's 13 rebounds. In other words, Davis won across the box score. James had more points, but it took him more attempts to get there. And that's exactly what I'm getting at. This is how teams lose, when somebody requires a bunch of shots to get their point totals. And as I recall, Anthony Davis got murdered in the media for this game, even though his box score was pretty good. James chucked up 3 of his 8 3-pointers in the fourth and only made 1. 3 of his 8 turnovers were in the fourth. This guy lost the game for the Lakers. In the plus-minus category, James had a plus 24 and Davis had a negative 12. That's interesting. Next, we have the loss against Houston, in which Anthony Davis didn't play and LeBron did. This was a game where announcers were saying that LeBron James was going to embarrass Dillon Brooks. You know, they were pretending that LeBron James could just summon greatness the way that Michael Jordan could and make someone pay. No, Dillon Brooks was in his face like crazy. LeBron shrunk, played poorly, Hachimura was the leading scorer, and the Lakers lost. No Anthony Davis equals a big problem for the Lakers. The next game I have marked in yellow, which means that they lost even though LeBron wasn't the leading scorer. Again, LeBron James decided to chuck up 8 3-pointers and had 5 turnovers. It's hard to win when someone who's not a great 3-point shooter is chucking up that many shots and turning the ball over 5 times. Especially, in LeBron's case, when he turns the ball over, he quits and it ends up being 2 easy points for the team at the other end. We have one more game marked in yellow, which again means that someone other than LeBron was the high scorer, but they lost. These are the outlier games. These are the weird situations, which is why I went ahead and looked deeper into the stats. LeBron went 3 for 8 from 3 and had 4 turnovers. Anyone see a pattern? LeBron leading the team in 3-point attempts and leading the team in turnovers manages to cause the team to lose. Guess why his point total wasn't higher than the other people's? Because he missed so many freaking shots. You got 2 things happening at the exact same time. A stat that indicates 2 things. The Lakers losing while LeBron is chucking up shots but not able to get a point total. So in his pursuit of his points, he costs the team. And of course, the turnovers. And yet, Anthony Davis is overlooked in favor of LeBron James. If anyone is taking the angle that I'm overhyping Anthony Davis, I'm not even saying the words that Anthony Davis is great or amazing. I am simply pointing out the clear statistics that the Lakers don't win without him, but they do win without LeBron James. What says MVP more clearly than when a team can't win without a player, which is what's happening with Anthony Davis, and simultaneously showing that they can win without LeBron James. So the team MVP is not LeBron James. The season MVP can't be LeBron James if he's not even his team's MVP, which brings us to the in-season tournament. Stupid, meaningless, rigged, shit competition, blowout games. And yet, this meaningless crap, as soon as the Lakers magically won it, nobody saw that coming. Now this win means a lot. So let's look at whether or not LeBron should have gotten that MVP. The first in-season tournament game for the Lakers was against the Suns, in which the Suns were missing 2 out of their big 3. A decent game for LeBron James across the stat line, but he also led the team in turnovers and only had 6 assists. But we'll go ahead and give that one to LeBron. Against the Grizzlies, LeBron was the 5th highest scorer for the Lakers in that game, and again led the team in turnovers. 5th, not 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Give that one to anyone except for LeBron. That could be D'Lo. That could have been Anthony Davis. That could have been Rui, but it could not be LeBron. Game 3 against the Blazers, another crap team, and the game was never in question. King layup, LeBron himself. had 0 offensive rebounds and a bunch of uninspiring points. But let's go ahead and still give him that one, because in the stat line, it's not obvious that anyone else beat him. And then came the Jazz game, another nail biter against an incredible team, just winning by 32. We were all on the edges of our seats for that one. In-season tournament success, my ass. LeBron was the 4th highest scorer on the team that game, only beating the 5th highest scorer by 1 point, and was tied with other people on the team for leading in turnovers. Mr. Turnover himself. Then we circle back to the Suns. Still missing a key ingredient, but they did have Booker back, but Booker and KD looked like they were on vacation, and the rest of the Suns basically didn't exist at all. Unless you count Nurkic, who could have been 6th man for the Lakers with his performance. I'm going to give this one to LeBron as the point leader. But isn't it interesting that LeBron gets this game, supposedly unquestionably, as the most important player, despite AD only having 4 less points? I mean, it's not like it was a huge margin. 4 less points. But AD also had 2 blocks, 15 rebounds, and owned the paint. I mean, everything that the Lakers were able to do offensively, you can pretty much attribute to the fact that Anthony Davis owns the paint. Oh, yes, and of course that was the game with the ridiculous rigged game timeout thing where LeBron just had to complain enough and they got a timeout that they shouldn't have been given. The in-season tournament. So I was done after the Suns game, so I only heard about the Pelicans game. But I did hear that Zion might as well have been at a buffet line for all the effort that he gave. And then magically, when the in-season tournament was over, he went out and scored 36. What was that, like the very next fucking night he did that? This was a 44-point blowout. Again, the amazing in-season tournament. But these are the types of games where LeBron can make his layups without pressure. Whereas when the pressure's on, he can't even make his layups. Now, based on me not watching and just hearing the media, you'd think LeBron was the savior for the team. But upon looking at the box score, I see that that isn't so. Anthony Davis had 15 rebounds to LeBron's 5, all of which, of course, were defensive rebounds. They say LeBron had 0 turnovers, which at this point, I gotta see it to believe it. I have a feeling that they attributed some turnovers to another player or something. AD had 2 blocks to LeBron's 0, 2 steals to LeBron's 0, and 5 assists. LeBron only had 3 more assists than Davis. You know, that's not exactly a shitload more considering that he's supposed to be the team facilitator. And then we came to the Pacers game where once again, the team stars for the opponents suddenly didn't know how to play basketball, but would come back as soon as the in-season tournament was over and have great games. I mean, it's weird. It's weird. The only way to not sound like a conspiracy theorist is to pretend that things didn't happen, because you can't even say what happened in the game without it sounding absurd. And the Lakers were up by 39 at the end of the third. Not the final score. They were up by 39 at the end of the third. Again, more nail-biting must-see TV. In this game, AD owned the stats across the entire board. I mean, doubling LeBron James in most categories. It wasn't even close that AD was the best here. And this is the game that caused not just myself, but many people to put out videos of protests saying, what in the hell is happening? What is this robbery of the MVP? And then came all the excuses. Oh, it's about the overall tournament play. Well, we got 7 games there. 2.5 that I would say LeBron definitely statistically won. Others that were questionable. A couple, 2 and 4 were definitely anyone except for LeBron, and 7 was definitely not LeBron. And tell me this, does someone's performance in the game that matters the most not mean a little bit more? Would game 7, you know, when everything is on the line everything's on the line and a player shines, that doesn't weigh a little bit more than the rest of the finals, or in this case, the in-season tournament? You telling me that people haven't in the past said, okay, that performance right there deserves the MVP? My point is that there's good arguments that LeBron didn't perform better than the rest of the team in the rest of the series, except for a couple of games. And then you have AD coming through big when it mattered the most. That should edge out LeBron for the overall performance MVP. I want to add a little bit more context from past seasons to the point I just made of losses not meaning anything if it was because of LeBron, and yet wins mean everything if you can give the credit to LeBron. And we can apply this to the two previous failure seasons in which this went from being a team sport where the importance of the franchise and the team took second place to individual accolades and individual praise. JJ Redick even said, as the Lakers were sucking up a storm, that this should be about LeBron and not about the Lakers. I mean, the words actually came out of his mouth. Let's just make this about LeBron. And you know what happened? LeBron James shot the Lakers into oblivion. He racked up points on the way, but I have charts that I made from that season, actually the last two seasons, but the previous season was even worse. LeBron James would get his points and be the team high scorer, and the Lakers would lose. I would say, when LeBron feeds, the Lakers starve. LeBron was having as many attempts or more attempts than his point totals consistently. I mean, that's just crazy. Every now and then, sure, but consistently? And of course, we got to talk about the plus minus, because he was racking up double-digit negatives during those seasons, and nobody gave a shit about the plus minus column back then. And then, as I already debunked this season, and I'll do more episodes on it, they've been lying about his plus minus. It's improved, but it's still not what they're claiming it is. What did I miss? I feel like that was a pretty good annihilation of LeBron James. Let me know. I hope you appreciated it. And if you did, like, subscribe, share.